let's move on because I kind of like this next one. Okay. I teased that Mike Flood, the Republican from Nebraska, he went and held a town hall meeting. And the way this country is right now, having a town hall is scary work. You know what I mean? But, credit where it's due. He said that he's accountable to his citizens, and he held a town hall, went out there, and they gave it to him with both barrels. So let me paint this picture for those that don't know, and then we'll get a little bit of audio and get into it. So, excuse me, this is from the Washington Post out of Lincoln, Nebraska. Nebraska was anything but nice. Representative Mike Flood, the Republican from Nebraska, faced about 750 voters during a contentious town hall on Monday. The two-term Republican lawmaker was there to explain his vote for President Donald Trump's signature achievement, the One Big Beautiful Bill that extended the 2017 tax cuts and plowed billions into immigration enforcement while slashing healthcare and food programs for the poor. But from the start of the 90-minute session, Flood was met with an angry crowd that asked substantive questions but rarely seemed satisfied with his answers. It was a rare moment in which a Republican lawmaker publicly engaged with voters as GOP House members have largely shunned such gatherings out of concern they will spark negative headlines and be overrun with political foes. I want to add my own note here. I do enough picking on Republicans. I think Republicans can do better. I also think Democrats can do better, but I don't want to be unfair. It's not just GOP folks that have been avoiding town hall meetings. Both parties have been avoiding town hall meetings. It's a tough time in the country to hold one. All right, let me get back to the article here. All right, the mayhem started before Flood stepped onto the stage. When his opening act, singer and Air Force veteran Jimmy Weber finished playing a rendition of God Bless America, one attendee shouted, "All Americans." The heckling continued from there. Attendees yelled "liar" and chants of "Free Palestine" erupted more than once. Good. One rabble rouser, was escorted out after refusing to sit as he shouted down the congressman. The jeers, boos, and chants highlight the challenges congressional Republicans face in selling their tax and border bill as they fight to hold on to their narrow House majority in the 2026 midterm elections. It doesn't help that polling indicates that most Americans oppose the One Big Beautiful Bill, or that Trump's approval ratings have been falling. At one point, Flood had to defend federal cuts made to the very school where he was hosting the event after one attendee expressed concerns about university officials announcing a $27.5 million budget reduction over the next 4 years. Okay, so let me give you some insight into what this sounded like. So I'm going to grab this video and pull this up. So this should take you right into this moment. Okay, here we go.
Do not get free health care. You do not get free health care. Do you think that people who are 28 years old that can work and refuse to work should get free health care?
Congressman, a lot's been talked about Medicaid, health care, etc. A lot of countries in the world, Europe, Canada, they have health care for the people there. Outside, just now you said, you don't want to see a lazy 28-year-old get health care, whatever. My point is, every working and retired American should be entitled to health care. Would you sign on or write up a bill for Medicare for all? We've got Medicare now. We can start rolling back the age 5-10 years at a time. Would you support that?
We can't afford that.
Yes, you can.
Okay, so that gives you an idea of the temperature in the room there. And obviously, they're talking about healthcare in that clip. The actual conversation went a lot of places. So I want to go first here, Q, if I may. First off, I love that. It's like my favorite. My favorite thing is like when people get like active and they like. I love when politicians fear their constituents. That's the way it should be. These people are elected to serve the public. So they should be concerned if the public is not happy. So getting out there and letting them know that you expect certain things of them is absolutely the way that the relationship should be. We live in an environment now where I see it more on the right, but there are a lot of people who are in fear of Republican leadership. They don't want to upset their Republican overlords. And I don't think that that's the right way to be. They don't want to get on people's bad sides and whatever. No, this is our country. We were born here the same way they were born here. That's the only thing that entitles them to anything in this country, right? So they're not better. They don't have any magic powers. They were not chosen by God, none of that. So keeping them on their toes and keeping the relationship framed in that way, I love that, right? I like active people. We still have the bullhorn in the studio. We still make our signs, me and Q. And we get outside when it's time to protest, when it's time to be seen. We get outside. You can check our social media. We really them guys, right? But back to the point about healthcare, okay? And this idea that is really widely circulated on the right, which is that, people are going to get healthcare that don't deserve it. Right. And it's hard for them to imagine healthcare going to people that don't deserve it. Right. But I want to focus on that. Who deserves what? OK, so let's go with how about we go with sidewalks? OK, there are people who don't pay taxes. My son doesn't pay taxes. Right. But sidewalks, you can walk on the sidewalks. You can go play in the park. Right. There are people who probably don't work. Maybe there's a 28-year-old who doesn't work. Okay. Maybe he just doesn't work just because he doesn't feel like it. The worst type of people in these people's minds. Right? If that person's house catches on fire, I think that he should be able to call the fire department. Right. I pay taxes, plenty of them. He should be able to call the fire department to put out the fire. Right. This is not every man for himself. There is a government in place. And the extent to which the government provides services is kind of the line that we're talking about here. But what is the purpose of a government if not to care for the people better than they otherwise could care for themselves as individuals, right? And when I think of care for the people, indeed, I don't think about parks. That comes way later. I don't think about sidewalks. That comes way later. I don't think about police officers or the right to call 911. And the fire department, I don't think about any of that. When I think about caring and what a government should do in terms of caring for its citizens, the first thing I think about is healthcare. Healthcare spreads just like fire. If my neighbor gets sick with COVID, I could get sick just as easily. If my neighbor's house catches on fire, my house could burn down too. Happens all the time. But the idea that healthcare will be socialized and suffer as a result of it is something I think that cripples Republican thinking. For those who are decent Republicans, there are some Republicans I know that they just don't want they don't want more people to have health care because that means more people will be living longer. And I don't get it. It benefits everyone. It's a sort of a backwards way of thinking. But I wanted to make sure at least that I said that much, because I think this audience in this video shows exactly where people are. Healthcare, medical costs are the number one cause of bankruptcy in the United States of America. And the United States is the only developed country that doesn't have universal health care. It is absolutely possible, and it is often the conservative party that is blocking it. It's only the conservative party that's blocking it at this point. So, Q, I know just a handful of seconds left if you wanted to say anything.
Thank you for
this one. I wanted it, but I told you
for the handful of seconds.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You forgot to say the word racism a bunch of times, because that's why we don't have it.
Yeah,
the straightforward reason that we don't have it, and it's uncomfortable to say because we don't want to fall into the why are you race baiting and why are you playing the victim and why are you blah blah. The straightforward reason why we don't have universal health care and universal education is racism.
Yeah, that's it.
Flatly. Black and brown people would have access to free healthcare and free education, so we don't want anyone to have it.
Yeah.
Hard stop.
Well, we did a full episode on that on Civic Cypher, so we had to get all the notes and the research and the history. So it's facts, and you can check it out.